My wife, a Venezuelan smartass. Ja ja ja. This is America. We use H here. Sorry. Ja 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 ja. What's up everyone, and welcome back to Reload Reacts. My name is Trey, and today we're going to look through a subreddit that I am so excited to look through. r/MaliciousCompliance. HOA won't let us fly our modest pride flag, so now we just follow the rules. Due to some neighbours flying BLM flags, thin blue line flags, and other opinion flags, our HOA decided last month that we're only allowed to fly the USA flag and nothing else. The day after that decision, we received an email that someone reported our pride flag that we had in our house since 2016, and that we needed to take it down. We complied and removed the flag. Looking through our new rules, we noticed that removable lights are permitted without restriction. So, we bought 6 coloured floodlights and we washed our house in pride colours. A little less subtle than our simple flag. A lot more fun for anyone complaining about the flag itself and what it represents. If you're interested, here's what the house looks like now. And as you can see here, there's a photo of what is not so subtly a bunch of colourful lights all over the home. And it actually looks really cool. I actually really like that house. That's really cool. Landlord advises all of our company's equipment for sale to our competitors. Best follow our eviction to the letter. I work for a leisure company. Think soft play indoor soccer, laser tag, can't be specific. Prior to lockdown, managers and the big bosses were negotiating the renewal of the lease on one of our parks. Things were going mostly smoothly, however the landlords were difficult to contact. Then 2020 shit hit the fan. All of our sites were closed and everything was thrown into a mess. Negotiations began to slip down the priority list. Nobody thought the landlord would push an eviction for an expired lease during this period, especially with it still getting rent. Despite the site's closure and the closure of every business and restaurant in the immediate area, we were wrong. A few days ago we received a letter saying we had 7 days to leave the premises and take everything with us. We are reminded that anything left in the building after 7 days will become the landlord's property. That line is very important. Now, a lot of construction goes into installing our equipment into a new building, which makes emptying one even harder. At a lockdown with no staff and most businesses shut, it meant that saving much of our assets would prove to be extremely difficult. To lose a profitable site and all of its assets is definitely a blow to our company, but here's where it gets worse. A few days into our 7-day eviction, we find out that the landlord has been advertising our park to our competitors, but he isn't offering just the building. He's offering all of our stuff pre-installed. Quote unquote, ready to go, just needs rebranding. This is crazy. The landlord has evicted us from the property in an attempt to increase rent and make a solid profit of our equipment installed because he thinks he won't be able to empty the park. We were furious. And here is where the malicious compliance came in. We were told we had 7 days to move everything we owned out of the property, so that's what we did. Local businesses from all around offered up free space to store our things. A few people came back out of lockdown and they all spent the rest of the week removing, selling, or destroying everything that was related to us. We didn't even leave light fittings. In every other site vacation we have ever seen, we always end up leaving thousands of dollars worth of disco lights in the ceilings because they're too hard to get. We leave most of the construction in, as well as things like the bars and kitchens that all stay intact, recognizable as what they once were, but not this building. We ripped up the flooring we installed, tore down the walls that were not a part of the original structure, wooden walls to divide up the space, ripped apart our manager's office, and removed all artwork and lockers. The landlord now has every new detail he has been making dead in the water, a large renovation bill to install new flooring, etc., or a company willing to do it themselves like we were. Lockdown has been extended another 4 weeks, so he has at least another 4 weeks without rent. We were paying, and we won't have any potential buyers. Silver lining, the assets we got out of the site, fridges, TVs, equipment, food, tables, have all been sold, and the lack of rent and additional income has helped the business and paid staff wages. Update. Hi everyone, I'm so sorry for how long an update has taken. I was waiting for things to unfold. Here's what happened next. We handed in the keys and it was probably the quickest handover we've ever had. The landlord clearly didn't want to make any kind of conversation, and there was definitely an elephant in the room, but he said nothing about the lack of equipment. Complications did arise when we went back to get various deposits, but he had no cease to withhold the deposits from us as the building was in excellent shape. We had conducted most of the maintenance work ourselves, so the building was in a significantly better condition than when we found it. We also cleaned up about 99% of the rubbish and dirt from our demolition crusade, so he couldn't bill us for cleaning. A very minor bit of pressing from our legal team meant that we received everything owed back in full. The building is still vacant, and as of yet we don't know of any potential buyers. At this moment in time, our company is still standing despite the pandemic closures and lack of business. Staff are all employed and still doing well. Well, that was a nice story. That, that landlord tried to screw them over and they screwed back, Fighting back works sometimes. Get rid of my vacation, have fun replacing me. I originally posted this as a comment on another thread but realized it needed its own limelight. I worked at a company that gave out exorbitant amounts of vacation. Anyone who worked there for 25 plus years received 8 weeks of vacation and 2 weeks of personal time. This was a family-owned company, but rather large. We ran 3 shifts totaling 250 plus people. Enter Jimmy. Jimmy was a grizzled old man. He started at the company when he was just 20, but now he was 63 and gave absolutely no shits. Jimmy also knew how to make a very specific part for our product, him and one higher up in the office. One day the plant owner comes out and announces he's selling to a corporation. He's older and ready to retire. He promises that there will be very little change and he wishes us all well. The new company comes in and immediately goes after many of the great benefits we had. The first thing they do is cut everyone's max vacation down to 4 weeks and do completely away with personal time. Anyone who's maxed out had until December 31st of that year to use it up. They wouldn't pay it out. They then go into the office and clean house, firing anyone who's close to retirement, including Jimmy's backup. That's just discrimination at this point. But they also do away with one very important rule. You no longer have to get vacation approved. You can just call in and take it. Jimmy is pissed and they know it. They realize he's the only one in the building that can do his job now. So they hire a new kid for him to train, most likely to permanently replace Jimmy. So Jimmy does what anyone would do. He calls in the first training day for the new hire and lets us know he's going to use all of his paid time off at once and promptly takes 10 weeks off. We had a backstock of parts he had made, so it wasn't too unnerving, but for 10 weeks? Jimmy went and applied to other jobs, found one, and started. Fast forward 10 weeks, it's the day Jimmy is supposed to return. He doesn't. For 2 days they try calling him, and even go to his house. He's nowhere to be found. Finally on day 3 he calls and resigns, and they lose their shit. The parts he makes are specialized and patented by the original founder. You can't just hire someone off the street to make them. What eventually happened was that they had to contract the original owner to come in and teach some new hires how to make them. And when he found out all of what they had done, it pissed him off. The last I heard, he charged them a 7-figure contract to teach them how to produce the parts. They had to pony up or close down. Moral of the story, don't fuck with people's vacation time. You demanded my entire team be at the office for the 4th of July? Fine. Enjoy paying for the office party. So this starts on Monday the 13th, as I receive an email from a VP not over my department or bad VP. I am told that my team will be required on the 4th. I politely tell them that no one on our team has been scheduled this day off and people already have plans. My team is the IT team, and as you know, IT team gets shafted every time it can get shafted by any company. So over the course of the week, I let my team know what is happening. I let them know I've been reaching out to higher ups to fix it. I also tell them that if their plans are ruined, I will make it right at work. Over the course of 3 meetings, it starts to look like things will not go my way. In response, I send an email to the CEO of the company. All of my higher ups know I was going to do this and said I should do this as he is very family orientated and that he would not allow anyone to work on a national holiday. Well, he is in vacation in the Bahamas until the 6th, but his assistant informed me he would look at this after he gets back. Repeatedly slams head into desk. So I tell everyone that it will be work from home and that we will be setting up my cell phone as priority in the call routing, meaning if I would get most of the calls. To be honest, I was expecting almost 0 calls, especially since I was asked to send out a notification that IT support would cover the 4th of July. I never sent that email out. A day later, I was given another outrage. I was told in an email that my employees would be required to be there at the office and no one was allowed to work from home. They would be checking the door badge-ins to verify we were at the office. I asked why in an email, and they said they wanted to make sure no one was playing video games at work. We normally work from home about 2/3 of the week, and video game playing is a normal occurrence at work. So I walked into the person's office, and after a very long conversation where she was losing the logic war with me, she told me that it's just IT, you guys don't have lives. No, I am not kidding you. That's exactly what they told me. I reported this to my VP who said, I will take care of this. It likely won't be until after the 4th, so get creative. I know this man well. We have worked together for a long time, and get creative is code for corporate fuckery. I asked the person requiring us to be at the office if they cared if we had an office party. They said no, as long as it did not interfere with the call flow. Even suggested using my new company card to pay for it. Go wild. Pro tip, never tell me to go wild. At this point it was Tuesday the 21st. I let everyone know what's up, but that I have something planned. I asked who had things planned for that day. 2 people told me they were planning to shoot fireworks with their family, but the rest were planning barbecues with friends. I write up an email to the VP over my department and the bad VP. I tell them all that I let everyone know we are all sort of expected to work until 8 PM Monday. Per the conversation with the bad VP, I will be having an office party as a sort of sorry to the guys and gals who got shafted by this decision. The bad VP replied again, thank you for your understanding. Also, yes, I would expect an office party if I had to work on the 4th of July as well. So go wild and enjoy your time. Use your new company credit card if you need to cover a few expenses. Also, I should not have to remind you or anyone else no fireworks or alcohol on company property. So now it is time to tell you about my office. See, a while back, the IT team was moved from the main corp office and moved into a smaller building by itself. It has a nice gaming break room, a decent sized gym, and a full-on drink bar. Soft drinks, mind you, no alcohol at work. Our back is a big patio that crosses county lines as soon as you cross a small creek. A creek that just so happens to have a footbridge over it, leading to an empty field. I start making phone calls. Monday, June the 25th. I call everyone up into an hour early meeting that morning. I explain to them all that I will be making it right. I ask them to invite their friends and family to the office. No supplies will need to be brought by anyone. I tell them all that this will be non-alcoholic, but that I will be planning something for everyone. I told them to expect all food to be provided and they don't need to bring anything unless they want to bring some fireworks. The 4th comes and the entire day we did absolutely no work. No tickets, no calls came in. Well, 7 calls did come in, but from the same person, the bad VP. She was calling to make sure we were manning the phones. All of us were playing video games or watching movies. 6 PM rolls around and everyone was told that the food was ready. People were expecting hot dogs, hamburgers, maybe a bratwurst or 2. What they got was a full-on barbecue feast with pizza and other foods. There was smoked brisket, spare ribs, smoked sausage, smoked turkey, both kinds of tater salad, coleslaw, green beans with bacon and onion, pizza from 2 different places, excellent hamburgers and bratwurst hot dogs. On the dessert side was cake, very good cookies, 4 different kinds of pies, and about 2 pounds of fudge. Families and friends started showing up around 6 and 6:15ish. Some brought alcohol, but I told them they would need to leave that in the cars as I was not that crazy. Some were not too happy about it, but agreed as it was a free dinner for random strangers. So let me set a scene with you. I am out there with all calls routed to my cell phone, and everyone was just having a good time. We have a ton of people there, just enjoying the fun night, chatting about random stuff, eating the food, and occasionally lighting off some sparklers or throwing firecrackers into the stream. It's not stocked and only 1 foot deep. My VP, not the bad VP mind you, showed up with his family and brought some water balloons for the kids and man-children. Around 8:30ish, it's getting dark and people want to shoot off more than some simple sparklers and firecrackers we had been using. The VP over the ID department had everyone cross the footbridge, over county line and off company property mind you, and we had set up a big wooden board using it as our launch pad. We fired off what we had for about an hour or two, and sort of just hang out for a little while. At around this time, people were tired and ready to head home. I told people to take home leftovers within reason. We all clocked out at 8 and no one left until about 10:30. The bad VP did call once more while we were out back at the party. It was 7:50 and she called asking for a status update. My exact words were, "Well, you were the only one to call us today. The rest of us are on the back patio enjoying the 4th of July shindig." She simply acted like my boss and said, "As long as no alcohol or fireworks are on company property, I do not care." We ate roughly half of the food catered. The rest was taken home. A small group volunteered to stay behind to clean up, including my VP. We had a funny conversation about how this will make waves with the bosses, but he said he had my back and asked me how much this cost. I just gave him a sideways look, which made him laugh. Tuesday morning, I submitted the expense report to my VP. This email would inevitably make its way over to the bad VP and up the chain to the CIO of the company. It would be a bad idea to give out the exact cost of the party, mind you, but I can tell you that because of this 4th of July party, new rules were put into place. Any expenses of over $4,000 or more must be approved by the direct supervisor, the VP over the department, and the full expense report must be sent to the financial department for review after the fact. Hint, the party cost over $6,000. The barbecue was the most expensive part. I did not order from a low or mid-tier place. The place I ordered from has been consistently on the top 10 in the DFW listing for the last 30 years. I ate at that place so much I made friends with the owner, the best barbecue I've ever had. The pies and cakes were custom made by a bakery and the cookies were made by a boutique cookie place. I had 10-12 packs of Coke, Coke Zero, Dr. Pepper Zero, Pepsi, and Pepsi Zero. I bought 5 pepperoni, 5 sausage, 5 cheese, 2 Hawaiian, and 3 cheeseburger pizzas from one place, and nearly the same number from another place. Excluding the cheeseburger ones, I subbed out those for a different specialty pizza from the other place. The burgers were from an excellent burger place that did catering. I know the owner well. He brought his kids for the night of fun after he heard what was going to be happening. He was also the one who brought the brat dogs as he recently added those to his menu. This was the most expensive office party in the history of the company. The only things more expensive than this were some business meetings that the CEO rented private rooms in high-end restaurants for. As for the CEO, he was outraged. Not at the cost of the party, mind you. He knew that the party would not have been necessary if people had been allowed to go home. He was outraged that IT was the only group required to work on that day. When I submitted the logs showing how we received no real phone calls, no service requests, and that we basically watched movies / played video games during our shift, he had heard enough. He had apparently sent out a scathing email about work-life balance and the importance of our holidays to every upper management. It's kind of funny as people wanted me to get in trouble for what I did, but the reality is, other departments have done similar things in the past, just not on the scale that IT did. The bad VP was admonished quite effectively and sent me an apology email. I forwarded it to the team with a strong hint to not reply. Then my VP let the CIO and the CEO know about what the bad VP said, "You guys don't have lives." The bad VP did actually confirm she said it in a meeting with her EVP. It did not go over well. I've never heard people yelling in an office meeting like that before. The CEO of the company came to our office and yelled at her. Not sure if she was fired, but she is not at work today. In Active Directory, she does not have the down arrow of death, so not 100% sure what happened to her. I know she lost whatever clout she had at this company with her attitude. If anything more happens, I will update, but so far it looks like the fallout from this is I caused a new rule to be put in place about how much you are allowed to spend at one time. The bad VP may or may not be let go / forced to resign. I know she got yelled at. Strangely, there is now no longer any pushback for my bid to get everyone back to working from home. And that's going to be it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the story with Malicious Compliance. My name is Trey, this was Reload Reacts, and I will see you in the next video.